going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and in fact, I do know what's going on. You guys are thinking, hey, I want to check out some new MMOs, maybe with some action combat. Let's go ahead and see what Sky has got to say. And you guys know I got a lot of words to say all the time, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but this time it's gonna be hype. Top 5 action combat MMO that are upcoming, the new ones that are on the horizon here. Now, I actually made a list of 10 and a couple of honorable mentions, but you know what, guys, these are top lists. I'm not just gonna shout out whatever is out there, okay? So if you want to just know bluntly, you know, hey, this game technically has action combat, technically it's upcoming, it's an MMO. No, dude, fuck that. That's not what we're about here, at least for this video. We're gonna be talking about the ones that I think are legitimately gonna have decent action combat, decent ideas, and truly massive gameplay, and you know, all that cohesively working together. At least that's the dream, right? So, if you guys are looking for that, if you are dreamers like me, then I think this is the video for you guys. Upcoming, top 5 new action combat MMO. Star Citizen, a game that could probably go on any list ever, especially one of games that'll never come out, but it's just taking a little bit because it keeps getting funding, and the more funding you put into it, then the more they do with the game, but then that means it takes longer to come out. But Star Citizen is looking really exciting for specifically this list because of the multitudes of different actions that you may partake in side of this game. And mainly I'm talking about the combat, which is going to be two-fronted here. We do have our personal combat. There is going to be FPS combat, where you're going to be like jumping from ship to ship, sort of like you got zero gravity stuff and things. You're going to be like injecting yourself out into space, back into, you know, pirating into like a ship or something like that. Pretty interesting stuff there, I think. We don't really have that multi, you know, like land, air, sea kind of thing, especially in space. There's a couple games that do that, like Angels Fall First is one that's pretty cool. I think one of the original Battlefronts. Regardless, it's a rare thing, especially in MMOs. It's just unheard of. So I'm pretty cool to see that we're gonna get that FPS action there. But then also we're having dogfighting. So we're having mixed combat, which we have seen in Planetside, but like not in frickin' space, okay? And then we're also getting, of course, we're gonna be in cities, in planets, things like that. But in outer space, we got the dogfights and the FPS action combination. Something really special, unique in MMOs that, man, I just can't wait to see when it finally releases, when we finally get our hands on it, which will be never. But regardless, still something to keep the hype alive for the future. Far flung, far away. All right, guys, number 4, it's New World. Now, I can't say too much about this because NDAs and things, there's been some leaks and stuff, we can't talk about it, but basically, it's gonna have like a Soulsian style Z-locking combat. It's going to be more of like a survival-y MMO. It definitely is an MMO, and it definitely will have RPG mechanics, but it's gonna definitely be grounded, like no NPCs really, you know, player-created cities and trading and things like that going down in it, and it's gonna be a survival game. You know, you're gonna be chopping down the trees, you're gonna be mining the ores, and you're gonna be doing the PvP. But in that PvP with the action combat, I think you guys are gonna really enjoy it. We don't really have a Souls-like combat style MMO that's really done properly at all. So yeah, mix that with in survival and the polish that Amazon's gonna give it. I think New World is something to be super duper freaking excited about. Now, the thing that I'm really hyped about is going to be the massive combat with this. Now, a lot of the games, when you think action combat, you think, how does it feel 1v1? But I think this game is just really down to earth enough so that it's going to, you know, have a magic system. It's going to have, you know, character customization with the paper doll, with, you know, a lot of different crafted armors and weapons. I really want to see the breadth of all that. But basically, how it all fits together in the MMO setting, I think, for this game is going to be a very sexy and unique formula that a lot of people are going to really enjoy. You know, having maybe like like a scout stealth team running around ahead, you know, have your front line having like hammers and plate armor or something like that. You know, just having different members of your guild running different things and, you know, having all that strategy, but then also mechanically, because it's action combat, having that player creativity, you know, that player agency is just something that's really cool and kind of novel to action combat MMOs. Generally, it gets a little bit blurry and crazy in a lot of other games, but I think New World is going to be just the right mix of mixed combat that's going to have a lot of guilds really happy. Alright guys, now halfway on the list is going to be a super debated title, and that's going to be Chronicles of Illyria. And you should just know, okay, we don't know too much about the combat of this game. I'm really hopeful and hype about it, but essentially it looks like something kind of like a third-person chivalry. You know, it's going to have that more methodic, you know, slow-paced and very specific type of fighting that's really more dually. Understanding that, I would honestly put it lower on the list based on footage that we've already seen. Of course, we can, you know, have all the hype in the world, But to me, it is also all the other trimmings of Chronicles of Illyria, such as, you know, the political undertones, or I don't know, it's actually a pretty big part of the game. The caste system and a lot of the guild-based content in this game makes, like me, I like being an assassin, kind of. So instead of just assassinating like mobs and goblins, hype for, you know, Goblin Slayer episode 1 anime was pretty good. And then also, you know, going into just arenas or PvP, running and just facing people with daggers, there's something extra about literally assassinating a political figure in a game. And with action combat, you know, it just feels so sweet. So something extra special. You know, we do have some strategy games and tactical games, MMOs, that allow us to do things like that, but an action combat game that has those added trimmings makes it just that much better. So even though, guys, technically, I know the action doesn't seem so actiony, when you're playing it, it'll heighten it. I promise. Okay, I'm hoping. But anyways, it's number 3. Okay, now we have a game that we don't have gameplay for. I'd rather put this game than some other games that we've seen, you know, like Glory Victus or whatever. Like, no, dude, just get those out of there. You know, Worlds Adrift, fuck it. You know, we're talking about Ember, okay? This game, it's coming from the people, or some, maybe one guy, I don't know. So, stuff happened, but Firefall, that was a cool game, and then it failed. Well, it was a good game, bad game, then kind of cool game. I don't know. It went up and down. But Ember is coming from the ashes, and Ember reignited from Firefall. But this time it looks like it's gonna go a little bit bigger and better. Literally, you're gonna be fighting kaiju. It's a kaiju fighting and conquesting game with mechs. You, instead of just having like a frame over your body, you have like a bigger, larger, maybe I would dare say like giant mech suit that you can actually wield and utilize. And so if you remember the action combat of Firefall, I was like, hey, it's pretty good, you know, fighting hordes of you know, little freaking insects. That's neat. Let's have giant insects and let's get bigger mechs and let's just go like full ridiculous, man. That's what I'm hoping for. Like basically, if it's just a bigger, better Firefall with a more hyper focused on fighting bigger, larger raid bosses, then this is going to be sick nasty, man. This is going to be great and a unique experience that we haven't seen in a long time with MMOs. Alright guys, and so now we're at number 1. Number 1, obviously, I'm gonna slap it down, Ashes of Creation. And especially because we've seen so much footage for it already. And not only have we seen the footage, but they've done such a spectacular job of enhancing this gameplay. Now, I know that there is apparently going to be a tab target option in the game. In my personal opinion, I would consider games like Guild Wars 2 an action combat game because they do have action combat settings, and then physically, technically, the abilities, even though they are tab targeted potential, they are actually aim-based, time-based, and you can actually literally aim your auto attacks. Some people don't know that. Regardless, Ashes of Creation, if it does like a dual system like Guild Wars 2 and a couple other games, I'm still calling it action combat because look at the screen. Are your eyeballs open? Look at the screen. That is action combat, man. I don't care what you say. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of like Rend, which didn't make the list because, oh my god, that game. No. There's a lot of games I want to put it on the list that just immediately just kind of dumpstered themselves. Ashes of Creation is just not only keeping the hype alive, but is like fueling that fire. And it's just like constantly, every single trailer is just super freaking explosive. It's like, oh my god, here's this new thing. Hey, you know, we heard you didn't like that combat from before. So here's a new trailer of the new combat, and everyone loses their god dang minds. And yeah, I did too. I jumped on the bandwagon instantaneously with that. Ashes of Creation, you know, I could do entire videos, which I've already done and will continue to do, on like every teaser trailer that they've done, because there's a lot of things and implications, guys, that it just matters, okay? For the MMO genre, it's good to see somebody coming up from the ashes of creation, you know, coming up here and just like, hey, you can do this in an MMO. Hey, we're gonna slap down this polish. Hey, we're gonna do this big, awesome stuff in this game. We're gonna do all of it, man. It's gonna be great. Now, of course, we have to actually see the execution, literally. But in an upcoming list, you know, we can get all candied up, we can gush, and that's what I'm doing about Ashes of Creation. So basically, yeah, man, we're gonna have your blinks, you're gonna have your fireballs, it looks big, it looks explosive. You wouldn't expect this in an MMO. You might see this, maybe you could say, oh, this looks like a Battle Royale game. I could imagine this in a BR game, such as Spellbreak, which looks hella cool. But Ashes of Creation is gonna be a full MMO, full Siege gameplay, PvEVP, it's doing all of it, and it looks great. Also, do you see the wand gameplay? Because that looks really cool. So this game is just, from from across the spectrum of combat, I think it looks really great. Even if it does have the options of tab target or not, allowing people to blend different game styles and play styles. You know, a lot of games do that. You know, from Terra, the true action combat MMO, to Guild Wars 2, a lot of games have options available, but I'm just saying, the options in Ashes of Creation, what I've seen so far, which I know those videos are supposed to look good on purpose, but I'm just saying it looks really good. So that's why it's number 1. But that's it, top 5. There's a ton of games that I wanted to talk about that I kind of mentioned peppering through this video. Stuff like Gloria Victis, which not many people play, but it is consistently updated first-person game, whatever, you know. And like Rend, Worlds Adrift, those games, you could not even call them MMOs at the moment. There's just a lot of games out there, and I would have to admit, I think the majority of new MMO coming out are aiming for action-y kind of combat, aside from the retro MMOs, but you know, top lists. You got to do the best of the best, and this is for the action combat. These are the ones that are probably going to have the most interesting, unique, or probably just best action inside of MMO. The best that you can expect, which is always generally lackluster inside the MMO genre, but hopefully with these games, it won't be. Hopefully, it will be genuinely interesting in some way or another, either through the trimmings or literally through the raw, bombastic action. So let me know what you guys think about the list in the comments below, and if I missed any game or you want to shout it out, let me know too down there. And if there's a game that is out already released that you just love as an action MMO, let me know so I can replay it, so I can redo it, and let you guys know if it is the best action MMO at the moment, because I want to do a top 10 current best action MMO. Thanks guys for helping with the channel. It's a blast. It's called Skylent Games, but honestly, it's the friends and family that make it possible. And definitely applause to those who support me on Patreon. Very much, guys. Very much. You pay for me buying these new games. Thank you, thank you. This is a long ass outro. I'm out. I'm done. Thanks. Keep the hype alive. I'll see you again next time.